The Oscars were once a star-studded, highly viewed affair that often featured movie stars with very little world knowledge opining on complex geopolitical events. Yesterday, however, the 2025 Oscars rode into television sets across the world, and let's just say Hollywood is reeling. We'll show you today what happened and why celebrities are looking for the mute button really fast.
I guess Americans are excited to see somebody finally stand up to a powerful Russian.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a wonderful Monday to spend a day with you. Welcome aboard, one and all, and welcome. We are now heeding the call to explain entertainment. Keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do, and we only ask you to click the like button. Let's get started. Out of ABC 7 Eyewitness News, Harrison Ford cancels 2025 Oscars presenting role after shingles diagnosis. Now, the only reason this matters, other than for us to say thoughts and prayers to Harrison Ford, we hope he's well, and we know that shingles is a terrible, awful, miserable disease. So truly, we wish you very well, Mr. Ford, and hope you have a speedy recovery. We're sorry you're experiencing that. It's just no fun to hear it. But the only reason we're going here is because it says shortly after Ford's announcement that he would not present Sunday, his Star Wars co-star Mark Hamill was announced as a presenter in the ceremony. Now, it seems obvious to us that somebody told celebrities to shut up when it comes to TDS. Unfortunately for Mark Hamill and for those who, had him there, it seems that he cannot give a single care about silencing himself or censoring himself or muting himself or coming up with something that is less than incendiary. Here's his Blue Sky post, which I suppose does limit the damage because, well, who's on Blue Sky anymore? Mark Hamill. It says, hero versus zero. I'm in a state of shock and still trying to process yesterday's shameful, traitorous debacle in the White House, a day that will live in infamy. Our standing in the world has plummeted overnight, but the repercussions will be felt forevermore. Slava Ukrainia, shame on us. So Mark Hamill clearly has an opinion on the Ukraine situation and on Zelensky. And folks, we're not here to give you an opinion. Yes, I have one. So do you. But we don't need to get into that because this channel is specifically for weighing in on entertainment and what's going on. Yes, entertainment and politics sometimes converge, but you don't need my policy stance on how we should handle Ukraine. Just know that Mark Hamill always has a position, and it's always T to the D to the S. And while Mark Hamill, being a presenter at the Oscars, made for quite the conflict, eh? George Takei likewise says, "You are a disgrace." Talking to President Trump. I'm sure Trump is reading all of Takei's Twitter posts. How many times has Takei quit and returned to Twitter/X? I don't know. But he's responding to Trump's thoughts on the meeting with Zelensky. And folks, let me just say, if you were expecting celebrities at the Oscars to lose their minds, it's really the old guard. It's the celebrities of an older generation who are largely separated out from current Hollywood extravaganza, current paparazzi focuses. These are the celebrities of yesteryear who are still doing that. In fact, take a look at this. Harry Sisson, who is an imbecile, says Conan O'Brien just perfectly called out Trump at the Oscars. But did he really? Well, let's take a look at what Conan did. And I've bragged on Conan in the past that he's largely, in his comedy, apolitical. So what did Conan say?
I guess Americans are excited to see somebody finally stand up to a powerful Russian.
That's the joke. He's talking about somebody winning an award, and he makes a little joke about standing up to Russia. Is that a big zing? No, it's rather quiet, rather calm. It's restrained. It goes back to a time, sort of a refrain of comedy that happened before we came into this hyper-partisan late-night stuff with Colbert and Kimmel and Fallon sort of chasing behind them to still be on the left. Conan's just being, I suppose, funny. And I'm fine with that kind of humor because it's not mean-spirited. It's not over the line. It's kind of down the center, maybe slightly to the left, but he played it fair. Good for Conan. So what in the world's going on? We'll take a look at this out of the Hindustan Times. By Simunti Sin, it says, Zoe Saldana takes subtle dig at Trump's immigration policies at Oscars. Earns standing ovation from Selena Gomez. Well, really? And by the way, love this very white, straight in the middle banner that blocks everything. Good job, Hindustan Times. Says Zoe Saldana seemed to take a dig at Donald Trump's immigration policies while accepting her first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in Emilia Perez. By the way, she's the only one who got that award for that movie. She said, Mommy, a tearful Saldana said, my mom is here. My whole family's here. I am floored by this honor. Thank you to the Academy for recognizing this quiet heroism and the power in a woman like Rita and talking about powerful women. My fellow nominees, the love and community that you have offered to me is a true gift. I will pay it forward. I am a proud child of immigrant parents. Now, the Hindustan Times says that's a ding, a zing on Trump's immigration policies. If so, it is the gentlest I have ever seen. In fact, I don't know how that can be a zing against President Trump because he's in favor of legal immigration. So did Zoe Saldana actually take a zing, a ding at Donald? Doesn't appear to. Take a look at this. Out of Daily Mail, and then I'm going to make sense of some of this. Daryl Hannah takes a swipe at Donald Trump with off-script political statement. Okay, what did she say? Daryl Hannah took a swipe at President Donald Trump. The Kill Bill star 64 took the stage to present the award for Best Film Editing. As she started out her segment, the actress said, Slava Ukraini. The phrase translates to glory to Ukraine. Okay, is that it? Is that it? That's it. She said glory to Ukraine. Well, folks, I think President Trump also feels that the Ukrainian people should be honored and taken care of. That's why he's seeking peace, right? Ostensibly, unless you just believe he's pure evil. So did she say anything negative about Trump? No. She just said, glory to Ukraine, which, well, sure, we all want Ukraine to be safe and happy and healthy and whole, right? Now, you could disagree about Zelensky and whether he's a good leader, and you could disagree about, all sorts of things. And I'm not taking any position whatsoever in this video on that. Simply here to say, did Daryl Hannah take a swipe at Donald Trump? No, did not. So what's really going on here? What's really happening? Well, what's really happening is that apparently celebrities got the message. Don't touch Trump. Don't do it. Perhaps because ABC is the one hosting the Oscars, and well, they see plenty of trouble over at CBS, and they don't want any more of the mess. Remember, ABC is owned by Disney. Maybe it's Hollywood, in fact, just looking at the box office and realizing that as they're celebrating movies, movie theaters had the worst weekend when an Oscars is happening in modern history. So perhaps the chums of Hollywood feel rather glum. Maybe they were realizing that this is just not the time to dive into politics or to be ultra woke or any of that stuff. And the media is clamoring for it. The media is demanding for it. But they're not getting anything. They get these tiny crumbs that sort of, coulda, kinda, if you look sideways and imagine. And then they have to run articles with that. Unless, like us here, we're covering Takei and Mark Hamill, because, well, the old guard, right? They're still doing what they do, but they're kind of cahoots out there, right? They're kind of crazy. They're wacko. They're zany. And they're old. Getting older. Take a look at this. This is really the only time that things got negative towards Trump at the Oscars. And I want you to watch as we've got Samuel L. Jackson and Selena Gomez off to the side behind. Watch their reaction as this gets political. And as you see their reaction, I think you'll know somebody surely said, don't touch the Trump topic. And I bet Conan O'Brien's joke was even cleared. Take a look. We'll just play a snippet. And then I want you to see how the looks of Selena Gomez and Samuel L. Jackson as they watch in horror or nervous amusement. Here we go.
Both of our people. And I have to say, as I'm here, the foreign policy in this country is helping to block this path. And
You see that? I mean, Selena's leaning over like, can I get any farther out of the frame? Samuel L. Jackson's like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Why?
And then you've got the nervous smile at each other like, we're not supposed to be talking about that. We're not supposed to be talking about that. And why, folks? Well, to bring it full circle back to Mark Hamill, because it turns out that Hollywood, there are a few of them still out there, the true believers, the ideologues. And they can still do what they want to do on their little blue sky, where nobody's watching. But when it comes to the real screen, the real TV, the ratings are in such damage and in such danger at this point. The box office in such a crumbling status. I mean, people haven't even heard of many of these winners, so-called winners at the Oscars, right? These are not necessarily market successes. These are successes only in the halls of Hollywood where money is not happening for these winners. They're like little artsy-fartsy virtue signaling, what would you call it even? They're trophies for, they're insider trophy trading maybe. Maybe that's what we call it. Here's the deal. They're in such a bad state right now that they don't need mistakes, they don't need mishaps, and they don't need to make enemies with the American public anymore. The stars have lost their shine, and Hollywood knows that. And they're trying to keep things orderly for the first time in forever. Why is Kimmel not hosting the Oscars anymore? Because they know they can trust Conan to put on a good show that doesn't alienate half the country or more. Take a look at the Academy Awards real quick, folks. For Best Picture, Honora. Best Actor, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. Best Actress, Mikey Madison for Honora. Best Production Design, Wicked. Best Animated Feature, Flow. Best Original Song came from, well, look at that. They don't even list that it came from Emilia Perez called El Mal. You can see the list here, folks. It's mundane. It's benign. It's not exciting. There are no big winners here that just shock you. There's nothing that everybody in America, they saw the film and they're like, oh yeah, we saw that too. These are deep in the weeds kinds of artistic selections. They're very esoterically part of Hollywood, but not part of your cultural experience. And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that Hollywood has sort of put themselves into a bubble, and the Oscars are an example of that bubble. And the bubble is bursting, it's popping. And as they're dropping, the message seems to have been, do not make half or more of our audience angry anymore. All right, folks, that is the video for this morning. Hope you enjoyed it. We have so much more stuff today. It is amazing. Can't wait to bring it to you. And, well, we'll do so with the glee, the fun, the zeal that even the Hollyweirds can feel. Folks, as we get ready to go, click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on all of this. And until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
Right. So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. She's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... okay, I'm gonna have to call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.